There we are. So thanks. Good morning, Queen Ethelburga. We are live from the UK. Queen Ethelburga is a wonderful school, with whom we've worked for many years, and they were leading the same segment back in 2022. So we're very happy to have you here again to see how uh, your wonderful initiatives have evolved. Very grateful to Lawrence for making the contact as usual, and we're very much looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be here. As you said, we joined with this in 2022, and since then we've done quite a lot of work in terms of looking at the different areas and the different skills that we want students to develop, not just in academic, but across all areas, to really develop them as holistic, well-rounded young people. So just have a presentation that I will just share with you all. You just bear with me 1 second. So while that loads, just to give a bit more background about the school, so we are based near York, in Yorkshire, in England. So we're coming to you for today. It's very snowy today, so we're definitely in the start of winter. But joining us today, we have myself. My name is Faye Hardcastle, and I'm a senior lead practitioner here. We also have Tara Stewart, who is also a senior lead practitioner. We are joined also by Andrea Brayford-Ryder, who's head of our staff and departments, and she works really closely with us as a teaching and learning team. And then we have Matt Clayton, who is the head of co-curricular, to talk more about our enrichment offering. So we're really going to focus today on what we call Thrive at QE, and it's linked really strongly with our collegiate aims. So those aims, if we look at academic, is to build the skills for lifelong learning and future success, and then enrichment to foster a spirit of adventure and discovery, welfare to promote happiness, positive health and community safety, well-being to encourage respect, equity, integrity and collective responsibility. And also on the slide there, you can see our school motto, which is a Hill standard: to be the best that I can with the gifts that I have. So we're really aiming to develop all of our students to be the best they can with the gifts they've got. So everything we're doing in the classroom, outside of the classroom, the projects that we're doing with them, or the offering in terms of support, we're really hoping to develop all these skills in the students. So hopefully you can continue to see the slide. And this
Hey, we're not seeing presentation mode. Maybe you can put it on presentation mode.
Oh, it is sharing. I do apologize about that. It looks like it's sharing from my end.
Yeah, so then there's a tab at the top that says duplicate screen, and that's going to show us the presentation mode.
Oh, I can't see that, so I'm going to end the show.
That's a short hour.
Yeah, it is.
End the sharing and then maybe reshare. It may
do it.
Technology, guys.
We love a bit.
It always fails when you want to make it. So I'll just start to share.
Yeah, maybe start the show first and then share.
It doesn't seem to want to share it. If I go with my entire screen, no, it's not going to let me do that.
So I have it open. Would you like me to try?
Yes, please, Tara, if you can.
No problem. Give me a sec.
So if not, I can have a go.
It seemed to work fine when I tried this earlier, which of course is what happens.
Yeah, well.
Here's one we made earlier, isn't it? Always the way.
And ironically, technology and use of technology is a big focus of this year.
No, that's fine. It's
Tara, that's working perfectly.
Yeah, it just needs,
There you go.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yes,
Perfect.
thank you.
You can see those images there. Okay, so hopefully linking in with what I was saying here, this is the visual for our collegiate aims, looking at the 4 areas of academic, enrichment, welfare, and well-being. So everything that we're doing with the students is really centered around these aims. So we've got lots of different projects, lots of provision to allow us to do these things. So this is, since our last involvement in this, this is what we've been doing. So a lot of everything we're doing is really focused around that. So this was really, on the next slide, you'll be able to see kind of what this was really born out of. So this was linked in with 2 World Economic Forum reports. So the first one was from 2020, was about the skills for 2025 and looking at the kind of skills needed for those jobs for the future back then. So then we used this to develop the different areas, in addition to kind of other areas of what we wanted to develop in terms of the students. And then this most recent report from 2025, earlier on this year, you can see these are the fastest growing skills by 2030. And then we've just got some headlines there that have linking with that and kind of linking in with the fastest growing jobs of today and what companies are really looking for in their employees for the future. So these are the things that we're really wanting to prepare our students for the future and really make sure that their learning is something that matters in real life as well, and they can make those connections between what they're doing now and how it will relate to their future. And we actually received some student feedback this week about the curriculum and what they're looking for in the future, and the students are beginning to see those links between what is important in jobs now, the things that they're seeing online, in social media, different jobs that are available, and thinking these are the skills that I need to develop. So they're really buying into that, and then they will also shape what we're doing. So that student voice is really important in us shaping what we're doing. So getting that student voice is really important to aid us in that as well. And it's really useful for students to know that they have that input as well. So they are fully part of all the projects that we're doing and they're feeding into.
Can I just chip in there? We've
absolutely
worked very closely with careers. We've had quite a few employability skills evenings where we've invited local employers to meet with the children, with their parents, and talk about what they are looking for in future employees, whether it's then led on to work experience or guest speaker talks that we welcome the children to attend. It's kind of getting real kind of workers and real leaders of industry to talk to the children so they can start to aspire in terms of, well, I'd like to do this, but what do I need and what do I need to work on? So we do that kind of Key Stage 4, Key Stage 5, but lower down in King's Magna, which for us is year 6 to year 9. We take opportunities like in a couple of weeks, beginning of December, so end of November, beginning of December, where the children will get an afternoon of actually live, whether it's forensic science, whether it's accounting, whether it's what's it like to be a sport professional or in the sports science industry. So we're trying to give children those opportunities as well, which I think is worth talking about.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's coming up in a few weeks, isn't it? That'll be a really exciting thing for them to get involved in, and they have that choice as well over what they can do, and it'll be a really impactful. It's a whole afternoon, isn't it? With the
and it's
students.
using staff expertise as well as what students are wanting, and working quite closely with careers in terms of what the children are asking for. We offer work experience on site for our children, so they can work in various areas, whether it's sport, whether it's chapter house, whether it's in various departments, and get that what's it like to be a worker in a real organisation, but also what skills and what areas am I going to explore, and those kind of real practical skills for the future. So it's very exciting.
And we have some students actually that are doing work experience in different areas of the school as well. So we're actually very lucky. We have a coffee shop on site. So we have some students that have been doing some work experience in different parts of the catering department. So I know some students that are boarders here, so they might not have as much opportunity during term time to get out and to have part-time jobs, but they're getting a little bit of experience there as well.
Baristas. I see they were baristas.
A great experience for them.
I'd like to be a barista, I think. Quite cool.
It'd be very handy to be able to make a good
quite handy to make a proper. I don't know. Cool.
So yeah, so the kind of our aims, that's kind of really been transformed since we were last part of this, and it is really kind of the biggest change that we've made since then, but also in terms of transforming education and really having it focused on preparing those students for the future. That is we're really excited to be continuing to talk about that. So we can have the next slide, please, and we'll look in a bit more detail at the academic areas. So this is how we split it up. So when we look at down the left hand side, we have the kind of the three main areas. So if we take the top row, for example, so the approach to learning, we break that down into three different skills. So motivation, organization, and independence. So in lessons, outside of lessons, the things that students can get involved in, we're trying to develop these skills. So we have these for academic, for enrichment, for well-being, and for welfare. So we're linking everything we're doing back to these skills. So there's a couple of points of things that I'd really like to highlight of what we've done to develop those skills within our academic areas. So the first, in terms of personalized learning, is to really take every student as an individual and to look at what they want to do, what their skills are, and how we really champion them in them being themselves and what they can bring to our school community. So we have got a lot of choice for students in terms of the courses that they have on offer. So our year 9 students, this is the year before they start their GCSE. So the year 9 students, they do have choice of different options that they can take to really kind of go down a more specialized path or to explore different areas that they have interest in. And then at Key Stage 4, that increases to 19 different subjects that they can choose to do. So lots of students, they get to try something in year 9 and then really want to specialise in that area. So it gives them a good taste of what else they could do. And then in Key Stage 5, that variety and offering increases even further to 30 plus different subjects. That includes vocational courses as well as more traditionally academic routes. So students can really think about their future aspirations, their future career, and what they might like to do. And with that, Andrea's already mentioned our careers department, and our kind of QE Futures is the program that we link with our careers department. And that we use a program called Morrisby, which is an online platform all about careers. There's lots of aptitude tests on there, lots of information for students to explore different careers, and students from year 9 will take part in that. So that will be ongoing program as they move through the school, and eventually that online platform will allow them to support with their university applications, help them build their personal statement. There's different training that they can do on there as well. So as that they lead on that, but also we have ongoing CV workshops, the employer network evenings, which have already been mentioned. So we did have one of those a few weeks ago, which was a very successful. So it's our first evening kind of networking event that we've had. Some of the presentations were very, very popular indeed, particularly looking at law, and that was very well attended, and it's really good to see the students really taking that opportunity and getting involved with things. So our careers department, QE Futures, they have got that bespoke program from Key Stage 3, Key Stage 4, Key Stage 5 to help students thinking about their future careers, the skills that they need for employability. We've also have quite a few niche subjects that we have added in the past couple of years. So we have robotics, which is a new subject for this year, where the students will really draw on different skills that they've developed in different subjects to to build the robots, so computing, engineering, so lots of different skills there, all linking in with kind of how we can use them in actual real life applications as well. Esports, QE Sports, it has been a huge addition over the past year. And in terms of other schools that do it, we are very innovative and very forward thinking in how we've adopted esports. It is a growing industry. It is one that has that is kind of overtaking lots of more traditional sports teams. It's very, very, very popular. So we're very fortunate that we offer esports as a qualification for students at both GCSE and Key Stage 5, but also we have various esports teams as well. So the students are really encouraged to use leadership skills, strategic, they're working together as a team. So in terms of the skills that we're wanting the students to develop, it's a huge thing. It's a really exciting thing for them to be involved in. And the students, one of our Minecraft teams, actually went to the World Championship in October, and they came away with silver, with second place for 2 of the teams, which is a fantastic achievement. But again, it's something that they can see. It's a growing industry and something that we really want to encourage them to look in different areas, maybe outside of those traditional vocations and different career paths. So that's been something we've really developed over the past couple of years. And I know in terms of the trip, Matt, I don't know if you have any more comments from an enrichment point of view about the esports.
You're muted, Matt. Mute yourself. I could say while he's unmuting, I could talk about the fact that it's very rare to get, certainly in the UK, to get esports hosting out of London. But in February 2026, we're hosting, first time out of London ever, the ISA esports final. So we'll have 8, I think it's 8 Minecraft and 8 Rocket League teams, and we will have 8 different competitors. So they're actually coming here to school. So I think when Matt's unmuted, he'll talk to you about what we did in October over in Malta, where it was slightly warmer. Sorry, Matt.
That's fine. Sorry. Thank you for jumping in there, Andrea. I had to press unmute 3 times, but there we go. So it was a great opportunity. So Malta, going back to Malta, for the students to actually work together, work as a team collaboratively. And it wasn't just the competition, it was the leading up to that as well. That was really, really good for those students to practice their tactics, their game plan, and actually, you know, work really well on the day. Didn't quite get us the gold medal that we wanted, but it did do really well and served its purpose. So the team themselves developed their own strategies, their own techniques as they were learning, and that gave them a lot of confidence, so that they went into that competition feeling very motivated, very enthusiastic, and felt like they had the skills to do well, and they did. And it was great that they came back with second place. But not only taking part in that competition as well, you know, these are students that are working together outside of that competition forum, and they're getting to know each other, they're working with each other, and they're just developing those meaningful relationships with each other, which supports them with the rest of their academic work and their enrichment throughout the school.
And the students involved, there are a range of ages as well. So I think when they are actually a part of the team, when they're competing, you quite often have younger students that are taking on leadership roles and telling the older students what they need to do and giving them strategies and being very tactical that way. So it's a really good mix of students. And like you said, Matt, it's giving them that confidence as well. So it's really giving them that platform where the mixed ages, the students may not, because they're different ages, they don't have classes with each other. So they're getting to know students across the schools as well, which makes lots of links for the future and makes us an even stronger school community. So if I continue on in terms of the academic provision, we also have our Stretch and Challenge program. So we've got a range of guest speakers So there's something that students can get involved with, whatever their interests are. So recent guest speakers we've had in about how to be an entrepreneur. We also had an alumni who was voted in was it the Forbes 30 under 30 list?
It was. Yes, he was.
So he came to speak to the students about setting up a business, the skills needed for that. So there's lots of different things that the students can listen to there and take inspiration from, and really kind of link it in with where they want to go in the future as well. We have lots of competitions. So there is actually, we have a STEM trip next week where we have the quadcopter finals. So we have a group of students who are going to London to take part in the final for that. So there's lots of different ways that the students can build their skills and stretch themselves in those competitions as well. Then the ideas of where we're linking with the learning that matters in real life. So again, we've talked about the careers, but we're really focusing on those skills inside and outside of lessons as well. So whilst these are the academic skills, they're not just things that are developed in lessons. There's the projects, we have the student leadership roles as well. So we have our prefect team, we have ambassadors in the subject areas, we have ambassadors across our different Thrive areas that all support with the projects that we're going to talk about, and various things that they want to do as well. So the students have quite a lot of agency to be able to come up with their own projects and then have that teacher support as well. So technology is a big one. So as I said, ironic because I couldn't get it to share. But something, and that was really high on the skills list, is the use of AI and how that is shaping and developing the jobs that we see, but how we do things in everyday life. And again, reflecting on when we were last here in 2022, it was kind of the advent before AI and generative AI was as widely available. So I think it's quite a different landscape. And we have been quite early adopters of using AI and supporting the students in using it in an ethical and thoughtful way as well, and helping them, supporting them to use that, because it is something that is available and the students will use that. But we need to teach them how to do that and how to check for bias and how to understand that, how to understand how it's generated, the sustainability impact on it, the climate impact. So we have got an AI policy that we staff use, that students use as well. So when we're using AI with the students, it's done in a very structured way to support their learning as well. So not as an alternative of how they can quickly do work, but as a strategy and a tool that they can use to support themselves. So we have what some examples are, helping the students to develop their own agents to support with personal statement writing, to help gather or everything that the student would like to put into there, to help them with prompts so that they can really build something themselves that represents them, that is their own work, but they are using it as a tool. So I think every one of us here might have used a little bit of AI or used it with the students. So has anybody got any experiences that they'd like to talk about? Oh, Harry, you're muted. I can hear you now. Maybe it's sharing or speaking.
Can you hear me and can you see me?
We can hear you, we can see you, but we can't see the presentation, but that's okay. We can come back to that.
Okay, yeah, I'll multitask and share as I'm talking. But one of the biggest things I've definitely seen in terms of AI and students is, even just in the shortish time that we've been kind of using and adopting AI since its birth, I guess, and then since its mass kind of use across the globe, and specifically within QE, is the students' critical thought regarding AI, and not taking the first answer all the time. I think initially it was seen as this really big tool, which was amazing. It could do everything. Perhaps it could replace everything, and we kind of let our students explore, with ethically, some of the uses of AI. And actually, through its early adoption that we've kind of embedded within our lessons and embedded across the site, with staff support as well, I think students are now questioning the use of AI in a really productive way. So they're wanting to use it, but they're wanting to question it at the same time. And that really links nicely, Faye, with what you were talking about with the academic skills part and that critical thinking element, and kind of facilitating students to have that ownership of questioning AI, I think is really important. And that's something that we are learning as we go. We are also very aware that some students within schools, and I'm not sure if everybody else finds this as well, are ahead of the game, perhaps ahead of the teachers, ahead of the pedagogy regarding AI because of their own experimentation. And so, yeah, I think one of the biggest things is to be transparent, to work with our students as ambassadors also of AI, rather than kind of just the teachers from our side. So that's what I found, definitely, as in the last couple of years, if not probably more so in the last kind of even during this academic year alone, students are questioning more the use of AI and how much it can benefit them, whilst also being mindful of their own thought processes and what they can do efficiently as well.
Yeah, I think just with what you said about at the start, it was like, can it replace everything? And I think as the students have explored it, they have seen that actually it can't. Like, it can do wonderful things, but they've maybe put something in, generated something, and they can see that it isn't the best thing that they could produce. It is something that's very useful, but they are starting to be more critical about it and using it as a tool, but not as a replacement for what they're doing. Yeah, so watch the space in terms of where we go with that in a couple of years' time. So I think if we move on to talk about another area of our academic provision to support our students, is the QE Study Toolkit. So Tara, I'll pass over to you to talk about this in a little bit more detail. Hopefully you'll still be able to unmute yourself and share.
I'm not sure it's possible for you to hear me and also for me to share at the same time. Yeah, so I'll talk about it and I'll put the slide up at the end. I think that might be a good idea.
Perfect. Well, that's good work.
Yeah, no problem. So first of all, we're really delighted to share the number of projects we have within QE. You'll hopefully get a small flavour of kind of what we have to offer, and what are a lot of the projects that we have are very student-driven, student-created, or student-led at least. And this is one of those. So the QE Study Toolkit, I believe we spoke a little bit about the first time that Faye and I collaborated on the 24 Hours of Change in Education. And kind of the changes from that. So I want to just give a really quick overview of what it is. Essentially, it's a one-stop shop, or a toolkit that students can use to study effectively. There are various strategies for things such as time management, organisation and revision that students across the globe use to help them feel more organised, be prepared in their studies for beyond school, further education or employment, and also for examinations. One of the things we realised, particularly after 2020, was that students were coming to us with a whole range of strategies, sometimes with a really great idea of some of the strategies, but actually it's perhaps not always the most effective, and they're really hardworking, great work ethic, but actually some of the methods that they were using for those three areas were not as effective as they could be. So we really went back to the drawing board. We thought about all of the different areas, all of the different research that surrounded those kind of strategies for time management, organisation and revision. And then we created the QE Study Toolkit. So it's an amalgamation, really, a kind of a merging of all of those strategies, and that we really want to give students autonomy in what will definitely work for them, and give them almost an empowering feeling that they can choose and trial any strategy that we would kind of recommend to be one of the most effective or the most effective strategies to use. And it's really up to them to try it and figure it out what works for them, rather than you know, in all subjects looking at a specific strategy. Actually working with our staff and our teachers, working with house parents and parents, looking at how those strategies can be embedded, not just within lessons, but outside of lessons as well. So one example could be that we have a student who perhaps previously decided that the best way to revise potentially could be to write notes and highlights, and actually through speaking with them either via a coaching session or within lessons, or perhaps a house parent in boarding, helping them when they perhaps a little bit stressed and anxious of upcoming tests. Through kind of that mentoring side of things within school, it was then realized perhaps that the student could look at alternative ways that they could bring in, you know, some of those strategies within their current practice, so not completely changing what they're doing, but actually them seeing the value of that, and as a result of that, feeling less stressed, less anxious, more prepared, and actually being able to have a little bit of downtime for themselves, and looking at the wider picture there. So I think in terms of the kind of QE Study Toolkit, the aim for us as a collegiate is to make sure that students feel prepared, and as a result of that, in whatever form that may take, that they feel organized, they feel more confident and empowered to make their own choices about what the effective tools are to study, and also they can balance their time across all of the different areas, so that they are able to feel that they could join a competition that's not connected to any of their subjects, or they could go on a different trip or linked to enrichment, or they could do some extracurricular activity that they're interested in that is complementary or not to some of their academic studies. So it's really helping them to understand what works for them. We have lots of different areas within the study toolkit, one of which is massively kind of supported by our students. So we have various ambassadors that across the school we're really grateful for, and they're really helpful with other students. So every evening during the school week, we have subject ambassadors helping students on site every evening between 7 and 8 o'clock in the evening, where we have what's called our power hour, our study hour. So students can go and get some extra subject support if they need it, or they can go along and ask for help. How could I balance all of my deadlines with everything else that I have going on in my life? So really supporting to look at that bigger picture, not just necessarily making it simply about the academic, although important, but actually we always suggest to have a study planner rather than a revision timetable, because we think that actually looking at putting in some of the appointments that they may have, or some of the fixtures that they may have, some family time or whatever it might be, is as important as putting in the revision as well. So really having a well-rounded look at how to be organised that way, and it's embedded throughout all of our aspects of school. So whether that's form time with the form tutors, who have a really kind of pastoral element to their role, where they're making sure that students feel well prepared, they feel happy and safe, and then making sure that they have the right equipment, for example, for the day, right the way through to the end of the day. We have our boarding parents, which is a separate team within school, where students can go to, and they can, switch off for a little bit from the school day, whilst also being kind of mentored, I guess, around these areas as well. And then, support for our parents to make sure that, children, our day students and our international students, when they do go home during the holidays, for example, they have the tools that they feel confident to support their child with when it links to studying. So it's connected with the academic, but you'll see as we go through the different areas of Thrive, it's also connected to the other parts as well. I'm going to reshare, which may mean I'm muted. So just
okay. Thank you so much for that, Tara. I think as well, all those skills that they're developing as part of the QE Study Toolkit, they're all applicable to future life as well. I know when I've used some of these with the students, I use some of these strategies in my own life and organizing my own workload as well. The Pomodoro technique, which you might be able to see on the screen there, doing things in 25-minute chunks. that is fantastic for getting housework done, just 25 minutes. So it's something, the skills that's developing in all of us, and kind of really kind of employability skills, kind of that further education, and for like the lifelong learning of the students as well. So if we move on now to look at the enrichment areas, to look at how we are kind of changing the education for students in terms of enrichment. So Matt, I'll pass on over to you to give us more detail on this.
Thank you, Faye, and hopefully you can hear me this time. I'm delighted to talk about enrichment. It's really, for me, a very exciting part of school life. And you'll see on the screen there our aim, which is one of the school aims, is about fostering this spirit of adventure and discovery. So everything that we do, we drive into that. The whole adventure and discovery is key to what we're trying to achieve, and that comes about by really providing for the students lots of experiences, lots of opportunities. They're the key words, and we do that in quite a number of ways. If you see down the left-hand side of the screen there, we're really focusing on 3 key areas. This is the cultural exploration, skill development, and also personal growth. And I'll just focus on each one of those at a time and kind of elaborate a little bit, starting off with cultural exploration. And this is really all about, as is mentioned, these exciting opportunities. This is all about here, the kind of trips that we do, and kind of nurturing this excitement in students so that they become curious and they want to explore the world. They want to explore their local communities. So and this really complements the academic curriculum really, really well. So whether we are doing a day trip to a local city such as Leeds, and we're comparing that to a more remote rural area near the seaside of Whitby, Bridlington area, something like that. That's like a day trip to enhance their academic learning. That's really useful, really important. We also enhance our offering with weekend trips as well. We have a lot of students who live on site here at Queen Ethelburga's as boarders, and we want to be able to generate that provision that they would get in their home environment. So providing opportunities to go to the seaside, to the cinema, to the shops, out for a meal in the local city of York, all of these exciting things, whether it be bowling, horse riding, all sorts of things that take place at a weekend as well, and trips further afar to Blackpool and down to London, to the Harry Potter world and those sorts of experiences. They're really, really good. We also add on to that a load of residential trips. Faye, I know you've been involved in these as well yourself. And it's great to see students outside of school, outside of the school setting, outside of the classroom, because learning outside of the classroom can really, really enhance what they're doing. So we have residential trips in the UK. We particularly enjoy our overseas residential visits, whether that be a skiing trip in Italy. We've recently been to Madrid for a language and cultural immersion trip. You've mentioned already the amazing esports trip, the competitive trip to Malta, which is extremely successful. We had an amazing trip. I wish I'd been on all of these myself. I haven't, but we have had an amazing trip to Iceland last year as well. We've got a trip planned for New York City and Washington. Another trip planned for Berlin coming up. So this is what I mean when I express the desire for students to have these opportunities and experiences. And I think we do that really in abundance here. We also need to think about our local community, making local community connections. And we do that a lot. We do that through charity. We've got the marvellous Kevin Sinfield coming to school in a matter of weeks as well, and he'll be launching one of his 7-in-7 marathons from here. But it's all about this cultural exploration is all about this whole global awareness and encouraging students to become interested in the world and get a deeper understanding of themselves and of each other, and discover new things. As I say, it's all about this adventure and discovery. So that's one of the first parts there. Faye, I don't know whether you want to elaborate on any of
well, I think as well, in terms of I think this the last point that you said, it's not just exploring places, it's also exploring themselves as well in different contexts. And I've been really fortunate. I have been on several residentials and been able to lead on those, and it is such a pleasure to see those students in a different environment, learning more about different things, finding things out for themselves as well, about themselves, and that is something that really allows them to find themselves, or to find their passions, and to find what they're interested in, and to kind of broaden their horizons. So it's something that we're doing really well to allow them those skills to develop their passions.
Yeah, and I think it really, it's about developing them as an individual and helping them to gain those, like it says there under global awareness, the independence, traveling, to be able to have the confidence to go out and explore the world. I think that's what that's all about. And we try to give them those skills by giving the opportunities to go and explore, and that's key to that side of things. I'll move on now to the skill development, and this is all about well, whatever skill it might be, whether you're learning to ride a horse or playing tennis or learning to play a musical instrument, or you're honing some sports skills in technique that you're trying to develop. That's really key to what we want. Again, more opportunities, more experiences for the students. And we do this in abundance here at Queen Ethelburga's. And there is really, you've got on the screen there, 140 after school and lunchtime activities. They are really, there's before school activities as well. There are weekend activities. There is always something going on for the students. There are things that they can do, multiple things that they can do activity wise. That they really enjoy doing, and we're very, very lucky here to have such a great staff team who give their time outside of the curriculum to provide this offering. We really couldn't do that without the amazing staff team that we've got. So we are very, very lucky, not only because they want to offer their time, but also their skills. And we have so many staff with so many skills here that we are able to offer such a broad array of activities. So it's great to see. Not only the staff that we have, but we also have coaches that come onto site to enhance our provision as well. For example, it could be our instrumental and vocal tutors, it could be our fencing coach, it could be our we go off site to do horse riding to coaches there, because we can't have horses on site that easily. We go out to a golf range, and we hone our skills for all of those sorts of things as well. Because much as we'd love to have a golf range on site, we don't. But maybe that's something for the future. But yeah, there are loads of opportunities, and again, it's all about that teamwork, students working together, working collaboratively, and developing their competence and confidence in all of the things that they do. There are times that learning new skills and techniques is going to be a challenge, and that's why we want them to persevere. So we encourage them, we provide them with the skills of resilience. Really, we help to encourage them. We help them to develop their endurance when they are faced with these challenges of, I don't quite know that musical rhythm. So we've got staff there to support them, to get them to the next point, so that they do become proficient, become really good at what they do, and then they impart that knowledge, they share that knowledge with their peers, which is a really lovely thing to see, which kind of leads me nicely into the personal growth side of things, where we have all sorts of opportunities. The Duke of Edinburgh, which come back to you in a minute, Faye, because I know you're very involved with the Duke of Edinburgh award that we offer here. All 3 levels, bronze, silver and gold, and the students really do make the most of those opportunities. The Combined Cadet Force, the CCF, we have both the RAF and Army represented on site, where students do get the opportunity to gain qualifications. They go flying. We had a few weeks ago some students flying out at one of the local RAF bases. The Army go off on range days, so it's great to see all of that side of things. We are incredibly, I'm very biased, but we are very, very lucky to have the QE motorsport team here, the only school in the UK that takes part in the Motorsport City Car Cup Championship, which is a formal race, and we take part of that within the student motorsport side of things. We have been doing this for 3 years now. We have a superb vehicle, a Peugeot 107, which we race around the circuit. We have a professional driver that does that on our behalf, but we have a team of students that look after the car. And when I say look after the car, they don't just keep it clean and make sure the windows are clean and the water in the windscreen is topped up. It's really down to the engineering of it. They do full nut and bolt checks. They're changing the wheels on the car. They're changing filters. They're like you would imagine in Formula One. They are measuring the fuel and putting the right amount of fuel in. So it's not just about racing a car around the track. They've had to change engines. So the science, the STEM, the science, technology, and engineering aspect of this comes into the enrichment side of school life as well. So it's a really good way of marrying together the academic and enrichment side of school and what we do. It really is superb. You've already touched on QE sports and the marvel that is that. But robotics innovations are really key to what we're trying to do here at Queen Ethelburga, as it really is a great opportunity for the students. So I'm not going to go into too much detail now about the QE sports, but it's really those opportunities to lead, whether that is with Duke of Edinburgh, whether it's with CCF, whether that is as a prefect, as a school ambassador for the 4 Thrive aims, academic enrichment, welfare and well-being. We have ambassadors for all of those areas. We have buddies in school and of course counsellors as well. So it's a big, huge collective effort, providing opportunities again of leadership and all those sorts of things. So very, very lucky to have those things going on. Volunteering, just to kind of wrap up this section, we do have lots of students that do volunteering. They go to a local care home. There's all sorts of things that they can do. Go to seaside on occasion to help with beach cleans. We've done that sort of thing. So care home visits really key, and that helps again coming back now to their university applications, because it can really enhance their personal statements. A lot of schools are looking for that universities are looking for that super curricular aspect of their individualized learning nowadays as well. So it's really key. Charity, I've also already mentioned our Kevin Simfield coming to school. We as a school do a lot of support of that charity, along with some others as well, and our charity committee help to reinforce that and share the message throughout the school community. So lots going on. Where I've spoken at length there about enrichment, and time is running out. So you wanted to mention anything, Faye, about Duke of Edinburgh or anything in passing?
Just as you said, it's another fantastic opportunity for the students to develop their leadership skills and to find more about themselves and to where they fit. But overall, in summary, there's lots of opportunities there for the students to develop that emotional intelligence and awareness across kind of the global community, and then they will then apply that to their future life as well. So thank you so much, Matt, for explaining all of that. Now, very conscious of the time, so just want to give you a flavor of our Thrive Wellbeing. So these are kind of some of the projects that we do to support the students in their well-being. So to encourage that respect, equity, integrity, and that collective responsibility, and to kind of linking in with here, we've already said about student leadership. We've already looked at how many kind of different cultures that we have within school as well, and we have, that's a really important point, and a really fantastic opportunity for students to develop that awareness and that kind of global awareness as well. If I just move on to the next slide, if that's okay, please, to show you some of the welfare. And I know, Andrea, you wanted to share about here something we have on the Fitness for Life, which is an initiative that we have within our sport lessons. We're really fortunate to work with some professionals from one of the local universities, and I'll let Andrea share a little bit more about that.
Yes, obviously, I'm very excited listening to all of you. I'm really proud that I've got such lovely staff, let alone talking about what such lovely students we have and opportunities. It's like wanting to go back to school again, isn't it? We work with strength and conditioning coaches. So we work with Leeds Beckett University, and there was some PhD research done a couple of years back about how 14-year-olds have got kind of similar fundamental movement skills to 9-year-olds. So we've taken that on board as a group of staff and looked at movement literacy and how we get that lifelong learning to ensure that if you get students interested in developing skills, and we don't tell them it's sport, it's skill development, how they will stay in sport for longer, which then means not only are they well, not only is their welfare higher, not only is their enrichment opportunities more open to them, not only do they do better academically. So it links all the way through. So we do lots of things that are quite fitness for life sessions, and the children know it's fitness for life. It's led by a strength and conditioning coach. It could be led by one of our A licensed football coaches. It could be led by swimming professionals like myself. We might do aqua aerobics, and it's getting the students to realize all the way from chapter house. So those very young students, they get a fixture on and off site in a range of sports every single half term. And it isn't just choosing the most sporty people or the sport that we think we're going to win games at. We completely changed all that. It's all about participation, enjoyment, smiles on faces. And I take children to Harrogate, and we'll go and play tag rugby. We might go and play some hockey. I've got school coming on Friday. I'm going to do a little bit of a football tournament. And the older children, they will referee. They will coach that team, and the staff are there just to support and make sure it all happens. So the Fitness for Life kind of links in. It isn't just about physical ability, it's about movement. And if you look at some of the things about happiness, positive health, community safety, it is all linking that together to make sure that we all do well by each other. And I'm sending out into the world lovely human beings that are really good citizens, and they know their local community. We have everything from Nepalese societies to the Turkish societies where they want to share their culture with the school community. But outside of school, when you take children out on a visit, or you take them out on a fixture, or you will host a fixture, the best compliment is when someone says what lovely human beings your children are, whether they are escorting parents or the referee, or they are helping serve teas and refreshments, or they're just getting involved in the fixture and helping each other if in a game situation. And that's all we want. And I think that's something that links into the healthy eating. It links into the personal development program. So all strands that we've talked about so far, it's kind of coming, and a child can come with no idea of what sport will possibly suit them, or what physical activity. I've promised a year 5 boy, I shouldn't have said this out loud, that we will look at rollerblading. I'm desperate to look at it for him because I used to love rollerblading as a child myself. So I've told him we'll have a look. The pole vaulting might have to wait a little bit longer. But when they come and say, this is what I'd like to do, this is what I'm doing outside of school, how we can support that and build that into their day-to-day life. So there is technically a sport, an activity, a fixture, a game, a lesson, a club that your child can get involved in, it gives them ownership in developing their curriculum, which I think is what this 24 hours is all about. And I'm quite passionate about that. So lovely stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic conclusion. And it's all about putting the student at the center. And I think when we're thinking, about the changing education and what we are doing about that, we have these 4 areas, and the projects that we're doing, the provision that we're offering our students, what they're coming up with, it's all putting them at the center of that, and it's all to help change them, to build their skills. So that's really what we're doing here at Queen Ethelburga's in our Change for Education. And I wanted to end with this photo because this is on one of our cultural awareness weeks, where we have a day where all the students can come in their national dress, and it is the most fantastic day. And this year, when we had it at the start of this last academic year, the students put a fashion show on. It was entirely student led. It came from them. It was absolutely fantastic, and it's just a real celebration of the students, and it's lovely to see those faces there and know what they'll go on to achieve in the future. So just really like to end on that, and to thank you, Gabriel, for involving us in this initiative again. It's been fantastic to discuss how we're making a change in education. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Faye. Thanks to the whole team at Queen Ethelburga. It's always wonderful to see what you're doing, and we celebrate that across the world, and especially in a place that is so steeped in tradition as the UK. You are redefining what quality education looks like, and certainly targeted the whole child development and awakening students to the possibilities of their potential, as you rightly say in your model. So thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.